welcome back, chaps.
All right.
All right. No, great stuff. And I was saying there that I could hear in the music there, could hear that sort of 90s Britpop sound, which is what you were aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff. Now, where do you see Capstin Paul going? You know, you've been together 10 years. You've now you're forced into a change in the lineup. New drummer. What direction do you see Capstin Paul going in?
Well, hopefully starting to make headway towards the top. I mean, that's why we're doing it. But I mean, for this year, just the aim is to try and get into as many festivals as we can, get as much exposure as we can, start letting people hear some of the new material that we've got, and just try and make a name for ourselves here. That's really what we're trying to do.
Because you guys are unsigned, and I mean, there's loads and loads and loads of very talented bands like yourselves, I've got to say, around Scotland. Some great talent that are unsigned. It's just, sometimes it is just the luck of the draw. And I know you said, Ringo, it should be the music, but sometimes it is the luck of the draw. And who hears you at what festival.
It has. I mean, it's arguably one of the toughest industries to crack. But then I believe that all art type subjects are extremely difficult to get into. Like, you wouldn't get into theatre without working really hard, or film or any of the kind of artistry. You could even class football in that. There's only 11 players can play for Scotland. It's really, the music's just the same. It's really, really difficult to get in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't stop young bands trying. Everybody should try. Just have a go at it. I mean, it's great fun.
It is hard work and determination. Now, you mentioned earlier, Ringo, in the first segment, you said about competitions, and you have tried a couple of competitions, but you were particularly successful in one TV competition.
Well, we got in Sky One's live, Must Be Music, it's called. It was Dizzy Rascal, Jamie Collin and Charlene Spiteri, was it? It was the whole of the UK, and we were one of the few bands to get in from Scotland, so we kind of got through the live shows, but unfortunately we didn't get any further than that. But again, it was good exposure. I mean, at the time when it happened, we got a lot of good feedback.
Yeah.
So it's all been positive. It's always been positive with what we've been trying to do, and it's quite a clear impression when you see us that we are making an effort. I mean, again, appearance, the band format, the band's music.
Just done all right. It was a live and unsigned. They run a UK-wide competition, so we won that. We won the Scottish heats for that. Went down to Newcastle and then won the North East heats, and then we played at the O2 in London in the final. So that was another quite a big milestone.
2 years running, actually.
Also, we've played with Kasabian as well. We've done the Big and Falkirk Festival on the main stage, so that was quite a good. That's probably the biggest crowd that we've played in front of. I think it was about 20,000 people there or something.
Great stuff.
So we played on the main stage of that, so that's one of the highlights.
It's good to see. I can actually see, and if you're having a look at your stuff that you've got online as well, I can see the positivity. I can see that, because without naming names, there are bands out there who are really negative. Oh well, if it happens, it happens. You guys seem focused, and you've got this plan. You know where you want to go. It's just getting there.
Well, in a dream world, it comes to you, but in reality world, you've got to go and get it.
You've got to go and get it.
It's like everything else in life.
To bands is, apart from going solo, but I'm only kidding. My advice to bands would, just get on, mate, go for it, because you just never know the moment. You really don't. But don't sit back and wait for a record deal to come to you, because 10 years for us, it's not came, and we've just mentioned some of the gigs that we've played. We've had so much exposure, and it's still not arrived for us. There's quite a lot of people have said how you guys no made it, but we're still on the road yet.
Yeah.
So it's really tough, but you've got to go and get it. You just can't wait in the record deal coming. For us boys, we're getting on a bit.
One of the things, just to give you a bit of feedback, and when I first listened to your stuff in my house, and I played it to my wife, and what she said was, I'm also, as well as being an entertainer, I'm an agent as well, so I supply bands into clubs and that kind of venue.
Right, cool.
And our first thing was, and this is not a slant on any other band, our first thing was, you probably wouldn't be able to market them because it's a different kind of market. It's it's a bigger stage that you guys are aiming for. But the one criticism I've got probably about the music industry, certainly in Scotland, is that there seems to be an awful lack nowadays, and a lot of people have said this and agreed with me. There's a big lack of A&R people from the record companies coming up to Scotland.
There is.
I think that, well, just like every industry, I mean, budgets are being cut all over the place, and generally what happens during these times is money gets ploughed into kind of safe projects, and safe projects would be things like Dirty Dancing on the theatre. They know they're going to sell out, and they won't take any risks. So a band like us are probably a risk to invest quite a lot of money in.
Yeah.
But hopefully that'll turn.
Safe bet, if you ask me.
Well, it is, but you can't hide through the facts. That's probably why there's a limited number.
Well,
People kicking about.
it is affecting
Just
everybody.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to the 90s. I mean, Glasgow. I mean, when we played the kind of first bands through in Glasgow, I mean, it was booming. Young people just want to go and see unsigned, but I didn't care who it was. They just wanted to go and see bands.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. Music's changed.
There's still a bit of scene round Merchant City, and there's still a bit of band scene there, but it's not. You're right, it's not as big as it as
I
it
find
ever
that
was.
the industry changes so much lately because in the last few years anyway, but it went through a stage where it was album based. You were getting kind of success based on an album. Then it kind of related to singles, and then what we found is bands were putting all that effort into a single, and like all the trimmings, full whack, production work, you name it, it was in there. And again, slowly but surely, you're finding it's again coming to an album status again. Well, I find that anyway, it's starting to come more of an album thing. So it's hard to keep up, especially with as quick and as fickle as it is.
Yeah.
It changes so quickly. At 1 minute it can be this, the next minute it can be that, and at the same time we're under the radar, trying to get above the radar, whatever means possible.
That's why you've just got to be yourself. You've got to be yourself. I think if you try and catch on to the trend, you're always going to be behind it.
Aye, always on your coattails.
So many people say, "Oh, jump on the trend and go with what's cool." But see, by the time you get to a stage where you're ready to be cool, something else is cool.
Sounds like it.
And you've just
Something else is cool.
you've just got to be yourself and take the chance that what you're doing and what you believe in is the right thing to do.
I think from what you're saying is that you guys have to be adaptable. To what's happening in the industry. If it's got to be an album, it's got to be, and if you need to go down that route, or then, if it takes a sudden twist that everything is going to be live for unsigned bands again, but you have to be ready for everything. You have to be prepared to go down every route.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I think that the internet's probably killed a lot of like the music scene, like in particular. Because in my opinion, I don't think there has been as big a movement as what there was back in the 90s since then. So I think the internet's opened people up to like all different types of music from all over the world. So it then becomes a much bigger pond with much more fish.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's so many acts that get discovered. By having their.
And they'll change from one band to another. Just like in the
I think
toss of a coin,
is it Connor Maynard was discovered just. I think it was Dizzy Rascal actually who was just doing a troll through YouTube. Saw this guy singing in his bedroom. Thought, I quite like him. And got him in. And now the guy's selling loads of albums. So it's just
it's as easy as that. It could be so easy. That's like we were saying earlier, the dream. Everybody likes to have the dream. They'll come and sign me just like that. They see us once, but it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes it does, but 99% it doesn't.
well. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it will.
It's fingers crossed.
It's the right place. You guys have got the right attitude. That until that chance comes along, you need to go and find it.
That's it.
You've got, and that doesn't just apply to music. I mean, that applies to all walks of life. Stuff doesn't get handed in a plate to quite a lot of people. You've got to go and make the plate.
I find for us, it's when you're out there doing the gigs and stuff, you've got to kind of make yourself stand above the rest.
Yeah.
If you want to be noticed, you've got to stand out for the crowd, kind of thing. So I mean, we try and do it with professionalism. If we can say it like professionalism. Just again, our persona, our aura, experience being at gigs, even all the sound check stuff, sitting waiting about all day like you do, it's part and parcel of what you've got to do. Do you know what I mean? But
That's it. I think it was one of the Rolling Stones. I think it was Keith Richards who said somebody asked him, you've been in the business now for 50 years. How would you describe it? And he says, well, probably 10 years playing and 40 years sitting around.
waiting.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
But I mean, that's it. As you say about anybody who's seen me entertain or work, I'm the same. You've got to stand out for the crowd. You've got to do something that's different from other people by the way that you put yourself over. And it comes through your performance, it comes through your attitude, and it comes through just your general
the
whole
general
thing.
experience and how your persona is.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bands that will go in and just want to get in and get set up very quickly, and then get stripped down very quickly and away, and don't engage with people.
No, I think you've got to do that if you want to build up your fan.
Well, at the end of the day, what you're doing live on stage is your product.
Yep.
Same with your music. That's what you're there to convince people. I mean, you've got to believe in yourself before you make anybody else believe in you as well. So if you're standing there with the shoegazing, and I know a lot of bands do that, but if you're standing there shoegazing and that, you're not getting off the energy, I think, when the live performance is concerned. So to us, we just try and reflect it all back to the punter.
Yep.
And hopefully they take it in and they go away and go, who was that band? I want to know who they were.
Yeah. I mean, we've played some gigs and we've been absolutely horrendous, but just the way we are on the stage, jumping about, especially when we were doing the electro stuff, just jumping about crazy, and the crowd are like loving it. Clapham, but we're absolutely playing terrible. And you listen back to it and you're like, oh, I can't believe that was how we played. But just because of how you're on the stage, how you've delivered. I mean, the Stone Roses, I mean, quite a lot of people criticise, like Ian Brown, he can't sing live and whatever else, but it's
performance.
The people that were at that gig loved it.
Yeah.
You know, Blackpool gig and that. The people that were there absolutely loved it.
I've got to say, I 100% agree with you. I went to see Paolo Nutini in the Academy in Glasgow. I think it was the Carling Academy at the time. And the support before that, I didn't know who they were. I didn't manage to get the name. And then I got myself a programme and I thought, I need to go home. Downloaded the album right away because the support band made the
impression.
Totally made the impression, and I walked away from that gig thinking, well, Paolo Nutini was all right, but you know, the support band were great, and it was Mr. Hudson in the library.
All right.
And you know, I thought first time I'd seen them, hadn't seen their stuff. It was now obviously went on a great success himself, but for leaving an impression.
Well, I had a similar experience. Myself and my dad went through to see Travis through in Glasgow, and the support band were keen. And I was the same as you. We left there thinking, Travis were absolutely garbage. But that support band were incredible. You know, Keane were absolutely superb. It was the first time anybody in that place had seen them, but they were just like jaw dropped looking up at them. So what an impression. Similarly, that they left. You know.
Now the next track I'm going to play is "This Is How I Am," and as you said to me, Mick, this is where you are just now. This is musically where you are.
This Is How I Am is pretty much everything that we've done over the last 10 years. Group 21.
It's
ups,
more like
the
a
downs,
summary.
the highs, the
It's
lows.
a summary of what the band's been through and where we're at and what kind of vision we think we need for the future.
It was the first track that I listened to of yours, and it was at a sound check stage, as I said earlier on in the piece. But absolutely great stuff. This, again, if you want to give us any feedback, email studio@blackdiamondfm.com. This is Capstin Paul, and This Is How I Am.
That we've won and lost, how critical I am.